Hey guys, so I know I promised a Carolina Escapades video this Friday, but I think with the summertime and how many kid activities we're going to be doing, Fridays are going to be focused on our Hayseed Romp series, which we're currently in the process of building a tree house. The tree house project has been coming along really well. We've started nailing in our floorboards, which is kind of an important part at this phase. We've also decided how we're going to finish securing our base, which I'll get into that and the reason why we're doing it the way that we are with our particular tree house. There are multiple ways that you can secure the base, including angled beams coming out from the tree if you were building high enough off the ground that our method wouldn't be as practical. We'll get into more of the treehouse a little later in the summer. I want to make sure that we get enough of the treehouse done that we have some good content for you on our next video. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about building a birdhouse. This is a very simple project that we did at Cub Scouts this week, and it really kind of helps teach kids how to hammer and nails, which takes a lot of hand-eye coordination, especially for little ones.
Watch your fingers.
And it helps them build something that is good for your yard, because we all have birds and we all want them to be around. So at Cub Scouts, we kind of had the wood already pre-cut, and then we had it all labeled side, top, bottom, back, front. And your side pieces are pretty much, I believe they are 5.5 by about 4.5 by 5.5. We're using 1x6s to build these. 1x6 is not exactly 6 inches across. As you know, it's not true cut. So the 5.5 by, what did I say that was? 5.5 by 4.5 gives you your side pieces. The top and bottom are 5.5 by 5.5. And then your front piece here, this should really be a 5.5 by 6 inch piece of board. And then the back piece we make a little bigger. You can go as long as you want to with it. These are 1x6s, so all of those measurements that I just gave you by 5.5 aren't actually, you don't have to measure that out. That's just the wood width or size. The main thing that you're going to want to know is that the top and bottom pieces should be cut to be about 5.5 inches in length from the 1x6. Your sides should be about 4.5. Your front should be 6 inches. And your back, this one is 8 inches. You can make it higher if you want to. This gives you something to kind of nail the tree house up with. The next thing we did, because it's hard for kids to really nail in nails, is we would pre-drill the holes and then set the nails in it and just let them tap it in with a hammer. You can buy wood kits at Lowe's for kids that are done in a similar fashion. So you're going to take a drill bit that's about the same size as your nails that you're using and drill your holes in. To do this effectively, what I would do is, for example, if I was putting this top piece on, I would probably hold it to one of my sides and then drill a hole in and set a nail, and that way it's kind of holding it together while I drill my other nail holes. On this one we put about 3 nails in the top and the bottom on each side, and then on the front we just used about 4 nails. On the back side we just used about 4 nails. But all of these we pre-drilled the holes, which made it easier for the kiddos to set their nails and nail it in. And it's important that you do that, because if you just have them nail the nails in, or you try and set the nails and then let them hammer them in, they're going to get frustrated. They're not going to feel successful with the project. And these projects are all about things to do with kids, and so you want them to feel like they're successful at it. Nailing this thing together only took us a few minutes. Once it was all nailed together, You obviously can paint it. At Cub Scouts, we only had a couple colors to choose from, but they're still kind of fun colors. Now the hole for the birdie, this hole looks like it's about 7/8. Well, this hole is actually an inch hole. I would suggest making your hole in the front 1.5 to 2 inches because it'll be a more viable source for birds, but a small hole like this is okay. There are smaller birds that will use this birdhouse. Another design flaw in the way we built these at Cub Scouts, but of course it was easier because they just had to tap nails in, is I would suggest on this top piece, instead of nailing it down into place, putting a couple hinges on the back side here so that at the end of the season you can lift this up and clean it out. Now this will still be effective for a couple seasons because what will actually happen is, number one, the birds will somewhat clean it out themselves. They'll kind of dump some things out the holes that they don't want in there anymore. And number two, over the winter time, things will kind of break down and decompose in there, allowing room for a new nest the next year. But that can only happen so many times, and there's always going to be a little bit of buildup. So this, the way it was built, is only going to last a couple years before it's no longer usable by the birds. So I hope this video gave you a fun idea to do with your kiddos this weekend. I'm going to put the specs for this down in the video description if you are thinking about building it and would like to give it a try. Other than that, have fun with it.